Alright, so here, in this video I'm bringing you a build for speed farming growths with a GoD. This is one of the best builds if you want to start speed farming growths at a lower level. So for instance, making this build on day 1 or 2 of the season will be the best strategy because you're going to play this build the entire season. This would be the build that you use when you want to speed farm 90s or even 100s and you want to just do them really quickly. And especially here for season 26, where it's looking like the meta of playing this season will be speed farming 90s to get the petrified screams, so you can then do echo nightmares. This would be the best build that you can possibly make for this. And you can see we are of course playing without Paragon in at all. I made this build in just about 10 minutes or so. I do have a primal weapon, but all the other items are just randomly rolled. And you can see we're still able to crush tier 90s really quickly. So you want to use this build a lot in this season here, because you want to farm girders with it, and then you want to do echo nightmares. This will be the best way to gear up your character and get tons and tons of gear and Paragon here in season 26. And the playstyle is super easy, really nice and chill. You can watch something else on your other monitor while doing it. So I highly recommend playing this build here in season 26. And the scaling of this build is incredible. So you can make the build I have now on day 1 or 2 of the season. And then once you get the gear and the Paragon, you can either go higher and do speed at 95, speed 100. Or you could even remove more damage and go for more movement speed if you just want to do them quicker. So this build here will be able to destroy anything you put in front of it, so that you can get the most efficiency out of your time when you're playing this game. So let's get into it and look at how it works, shall we? So the playstyle is really simple. All we're doing is using our wolf companion, our prep, and our vengeance on cooldown. This will give you damage mitigation, and discipline regen. And all we're doing is strafing around, just holding down our strafe, and then we're pressing our hungering arrow once a couple seconds to maintain a high stack of momentum. And try and keep this at about 18, 19 or 20 at all times if you are fighting enemies. And I'll be playing this build in season 26 so much, you're gonna need to farm growths so you can get the petrified screams, so you can then do echo nightmares for tons of Paragon. Now let's look at the gear and how everything works, shall we? So of course the whole build revolves around your god set, and it's all about just strafing and maintaining a high momentum stack, and then that will give you damage to your primary skill, which is your hungering arrow. For the weapon, using a Yang's recurve, and the only reason using this weapon is because of the resource cost reduction. So you don't need to worry about the secondary at all. It only works for multi-shot, so it doesn't matter how well it rolls with that. We just want a high resource cost reduction, and then we want cooldown reduction and percent damage. For the quiver, make sure to get a high secondary here on the 9 series satchel. If you roll between 450 and 600, there's a massive range. So try and get one with at least 580 or 590. And then after that, you want attack speed, crit chance, cooldown reduction, and hungering arrow damage or resource cost reduction. For the rings, focus and restraint, and here you ideally want damage range, and then crit damage and crit chance. So basically this ring here, you want this for both the rings. Now this restraint is not optimal. It has dexterity, crit. That is also okay early season, but the ideal scenario here is of course the damage range, crit, and it being an ancient. If you get an ancient one, the damage range will be higher, and you can of course also augment it. For the gloves, you want dexterity, crit damage, crit chance, and cool reduction. For the shoulders, get dexterity, vitality, cooldown reduction, and all resistance. For the helmet, you want dexterity, vitality, crit chance, and you want to socket a cooldown reduction gem. For the chest piece, dexterity, vitality, and percent life. For the belt, Hunter's Wrath, get a high secondary here, very important. Get 190 or above. Then after that, you want hungering arrow damage, dexterity, vitality, and all resistance. For the pants, using depth diggers here. And again, this secondary is the most important. Get this as close to 100 as possible. And then after that, you want hungering arrow damage, dexterity, and vitality. For the boots, get dexterity, vitality, all resistance, and armor. And for all these pieces here, try and get some pickup radius on the secondary. It's very important to try and get some pickup radius. So these boots here, for instance, are really good with the pickup radius, as it will allow you to go even quicker in your growths, so you can pick up the globes faster. For the amulet, Squirt's amulet, you want cold damage, crit damage, and crit chance. For the braces, Wraps of Clarity, make sure to get a high secondary, I would say 48 or above. And after that, you want cold damage, crit chance, and then dexterity, vitality. And then for the legendary gems, we have Simplicity Strength here for damage to primary skills. Bane the Trap, of course, to damage against slow target. And then Sage Sword of Vengeance for even more damage. And for the cube now, for the weapon slot, we have Echoing Fury here, so we gain attack speed and movement speed. For the armor piece, we have St. Archie's Gaze. This will give you a massive shield. Basically, this is a big part of your defense, and it also ties really nicely in with Squirt's amulet, so we have a shield for this so you don't lose your squirts. And we also have our Ring of Ryan Grinder, so we can have both the Hunter's Wrath and Depth Diggers on at the same time. For the spells, Vengeance Dark Card for toughness, Strafe Drifting Shadow to go around the map quicker, and of course this also automatically fires your hungering arrow, so make sure to always just holding this down. Wolf Companion for damage, Prep Focus Mind to get bad discipline so you can use your smoke screen more often. And of course our Hungering Arrow, Devouring Arrow to give us the momentum stacks, which is our entire damage. Use this every couple seconds to maintain at least 18 or higher momentum stacks. And of course smoke screen displacement here for massive movement speed increase. And then for the passive, we have awareness here because dying is a waste of time. This just make sure we can, walk through Moltons and all that. And in case we do proc, we still have another T death available. Tactical advantage here for more movement speed tied in with your smoke screen. And then Call the Weak and Ambush here for massive damage increase. Now, if you're finding that you're a bit too squishy with this, which you can be a little bit in the start. For instance, if you don't have enough all resistance rolls on your gear, what you could do is quickly make the companion, Wolf Companion, to Fan of Knives, Blade Armor to get more toughness there. Now to follow it and use the relics to gain access to our skills. Of course, make sure you have 25,000 main stats, so intelligence for the enchanters here. So for instance, crafting intelligence gear on a class that use intelligence, or you can also do what I do and just simply augment some of it. This is really nice as it allows you to get 10% damage from amplification, 10% clone reduction from the harmony, of course also a lot of attack speed, and then also of course cheat death. Besides that, of course, have a flavor of time to increase the duration of the pylons, and nemesis braces to spawn elites and pylons, and then of course also an oculus ring with 85% in secondary, so you get these rings you can stand in for more damage. Besides that, what I like to do is of course having 2 pieces of sage and 2 pieces of canes, and then a ring of raw grandeur. Now, of course, this won't apply to you if you're doing gradives, but I just like having these all around because I keep forgetting to swap between T16s and gradives whenever I swap my build, as the follower is not a link to your armory. So I usually just have this on all the time. If I'm doing T16s or gradives or pushing, just have this on all the time. It doesn't make a big difference all around. But you can, of course, also put on a Creech Flame instead of the Ring of Raw Grandeur if you are doing gradives or pushing, as it might allow you to get a bit more resource. And of course, also try and make your follower as tanky as possible. Give it a good amount of vitality, dexterity, armor and all that. Give it a ribbon gem so it's get life per hit. Because if your follower dies and you click a pylon without your flavor of time or nemesis up, that is bad news. Also make sure to check out my season 26 playlist here, as it will contain the best builds for season 26. So see you there. Peace out, everyone.